co-casting. Hopefully I have the right mic set up because I am technically running 2 mics right now. Let me unplug this other one actually. No, that might break everything. Never mind.
Hopefully it's all good. Yeah.
Somebody yell at me in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, whatever. Worst case, they miss out on our insightful draft analysis, and then we can reiterate. Honestly, this probably won't start for a bit. Nobody's here.
In a little bit. I have not been uploading my videos to YouTube. This is a rip.
Unfortunate.
I did a couple. Okay, these. Okay, we're good. I'll stay on top of it now. It's been a very, busy last few months. So
I feel that.
real quick in 12 minutes. Hopefully they get here. Please. I was so excited to cast today.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped to watch Toilet Boat though.
Same.
It's an exciting series. Oh. And it's like actually at a time where I don't have to miss anything else.
What?
Nice and late.
The only thing I'm missing is like a relatively okay bedtime, but it's fine.
So most games start at like 6, or since I'm on the West Coast, like it's usually like right when I eat dinner, so I don't usually feel motivated to cast because I'd rather just eat. But this is nice and late, so there's no interruptions, no distractions.
Yeah, you're feeling what it's like to live on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Feels pretty nice.
I've felt out of body the entire day. What?
I don't know. He was talking about feeling weird earlier.
Does he have COVID or something?
I don't know what's up with that stuff.
Out of body is a weird way to describe that, but
I forgot what he was saying earlier. He said it like you're just feeling off. Hopefully it's just, one of those things where you wake up, you're just not feeling quite right, you go to bed, and then you're all good, but hopefully nothing serious.
I think he's fine. This is his flu game, if anything, so.
I mean, worst case, he can blame his mistakes on his lack of health, so silver lining to everything. Oh. Maybe
oh no, I dropped my pen. He ate McDonald's for lunch and he has felt sick all day. I mean, I guess you don't want to make food when you're sick. If he was already sick, it doesn't explain it. Either way, he might have gotten food poisoning and we have a flu game. Oh, I should probably post this. Hold on. We might not even have games. No, we totally have games.
We'll definitely have a game. I'd be very surprised. Okay. I'm sure it'll happen. They said they're in party. Who knows? Would be nice to start though. I'm ready. Ugh. Yeah. I wouldn't know. I don't have a Pixel. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like I use my phone less and less now. Like, not really going outside at all because of shelter in place. So, like, honestly, I don't need anything beyond my computer. Well, we got people. Is Rice Boy online? Yes, yeah. No, yeah, this team is a, what is it? It's a Double King, Rice Boy, Hype, Guam, and I guess, who's that? KTA. I don't know who that is. No, I doubt it at least. It might be a, whatchamacallit, a stand-in. Because it says, or unless this was a stand-in when they played before. Hold up. Yeah, I mean, he's in Dota, so I don't know what's going on, but I've heard there's been some scheduling issues for a lot of the Twitter posts. Well, split. Yeah, and I mean, this team, like, all these players have played PST, or I mean, Sensei Raven didn't, but I mean, like this team originally came out of it being a PST squad, right? But a lot of these players are on EST time, so I'm not really sure what the why this time was favored. I'm not complaining. Yeah, I we are on fire, dude. It was legitimately scary this morning. Like I woke up and like look out the window. I'm like, oh, it's still dark. I guess my alarm was set early, and then I looked out. It was yeah. I'm down in a like near the Bay Area, and so it wasn't like red for us, but it was definitely had a tint to it. It was very disconcerting. Like I've never seen anything like this. Uh, it's very weird. Uh, yeah, it's. I've been pretty thankful that you know, having Dota as a hobby and like video games in general, it's actually pretty nice with all the shelter in place stuff. Like I've been grateful that I can stay connected to people and like you know play in leagues like this where you can keep a sense of community when you can't go out and do anything else. So it's
Well,
really
but
nice.
I had been muted that whole time for like 5 minutes. So you were just
Nice,
carrying the conversation.
cool.
What an
Just talk.
individual.
Are they starting? Looks like they're getting ready.
I think we have a coin toss somewhere behind here.
Oh,
And we'll actually
oh
highlight
yeah.
that.
Speaking of behind,
Pretenders, they're prioritizing second pick. I think Radiant still has a little bit of advantage.
yeah, I
Um, Not really too big of a deal anymore, but
I've personally been favoring second pick when I've been drafting. Obviously, I'm not as good as these teams, but it feels really nice because you get the final pick coming out of the first phase, which is pretty huge. There's a lot of carry heroes you can slam there, and then obviously having last pick overall in the edition is just really really good. So
yeah, I think in a flex kind of, there was a couple of patches ago where there was a lot of heroes you could just first pick and flex them wherever. So it's like you can play them kind of wherever you want. By the way, Malefic, I just got this notification on Twitch because Twitch is convenient. Malefic's streaming his POV if anybody wants to go watch like a player POV.
cool.
And it's actually really useful to watch their POV too because they do talk about their drafts and stuff, and I sometimes try to pay attention to that. In fact, if I pull it up right now, I could look like a genius, but I think he's on a delay. So
Yeah, it's okay. It's more fun to be wrong than to
yeah. Oh yes, dude.
predict them. But
The only thing this team is missing is where the fuck is Maguire? We need Maguire on this team. Like, this is a Maguire kind of team. You got Rice Boy, you got Guam. Like, where's Maguire? He would complete the goons.
He's a mid player though, right?
Yeah,
So like,
you would have to throw Rice Boy probably in the safe lane.
if you're to kick your like
These are
top
two Sensei
600
Raven? No,
player.
Bush Doctor.
Never mind. Bans make sense. Sensei Raven's like best heroes invoker, and then Flesh Canoe plays a lot of Witch Doctor. From what I've seen, it's definitely his like favorite hero to play as a support. So they're a little like different than you'd see against most teams, but it makes sense specifically against Toilet Bell, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It does give up the Tiny though, which is a little questionable. Even after the hero's like move speed nerf happened, like this hero still feels like it does something
Still
that
a
no
good
other
first
hero
pick.
does.
Yeah, and I think even watching like OG, the way they run him too, like you can throw him in the mid lane if Topson wants to play it, and you can also throw him like a 4 or 5. Probably not a 5, but 4 seems a little bit more worth it for a Tiny. Yeah.
And with this team, I know that Yorick also plays it as a +3, so they have a little bit of extra flexibility than
it could work too.
teams.
I haven't seen Tiny off lane well, I guess I haven't watched too much Pro Dota, but it feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, it's not like a Pro Dota thing. It's more that I think it's his most played hero, and so
in the off lane or just in general.
Well, he traditionally played it mid, but I found that like in drafting, even if it's lane that's very niche, like Tiny off lane, having the possibility to make that flex opens up certain draft plans you would have had otherwise. And like I don't know an example right here. Like, say you needed like a pause forward that just kills egg or something. Like the ability to just throw in a pause forward to replace Tiny it's a good option to have.
Yeah, they're probably gonna. Yeah, the Tiny's not exactly the best at that. They probably want at least a single support that can hit the egg. Maybe honestly, Snapfire's still in the pool. And that works too, actually.
I was looking over secret drafts like for their Omega League playoff run, and they pick this hero a lot in the first phase. And they'd usually pick it alongside a Tiny or a Clockwork just to have some sort of built-in, Lifestealer Bomb build. But this hero does a lot against a lot of the top picks that come out. Like, it deals with Phoenix Egg really nicely. A lot of the strength supports that are picked, you can just beat up on them. Even stuff like Undying, it does decently against Undying's banned, but like it does pretty well.
Yeah, and I think they're sort of picking the Slardar because it's a good pairing with Lifestealer as well, so it's kind of a block pick, so you don't have to ban it, but it's also good into Lifestealer if they're going for like a melee core. You might look at a Troll or something for Pretenders, which just got banned out actually, so Toilet Bell also thinking that. Troll Void, and then what's another good melee carry they could maybe go for? Maybe a Juggernaut into a Lifestealer. It's not the best because you can just dodge Omni Slash, of course, but
something like a PA might be an issue. I know they don't have like the mag or anything, but like starter PA can do some work. Like I think you're just looking for like high physical damage.
Does PA do well against a Tiny in lane though?
Maybe not. You'd have to pick something support to kind of body the Tiny, and with Undying being gone, there really aren't that many options.
I think the only thing I would be afraid of picking PA is just getting exploded by the Tiny once he gets a couple of levels in a Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to be off lane.
That's fair, yeah.
Because that timing's only going to come sooner.
I like these bans though. Lina, really good egg hitter from the support role, can be flex mid as well. Wyvern, not entirely sure about the Wyvern ban. That one seems a little more weird to me, but I mean, Slardar is pretty much all physical damage.
Like, there's only enough room in this game for one dragon. That's why.
Maybe, yeah, there you go. And then I know Rice Boy's best hero is Umber, from what I remember. So
I guess it's just they know they want a right click core, like super heavy right click. So get rid of Wyvern, that would counter completely.
Yeah.
Like if they pick a PA here, it's really good picking Wyvern. Okay, they're just gonna get their other support, pairing well with the Phoenix too.
Yeah, I like Jakiro. It can. I mean, I think Jakiro is one of the best supports in the game right now.
Dude, he's like, what is the word I'm looking for? He is like sneakily tanky. Oh, what am I trying to say?
Deceptively tanky.
Deceptive. Maybe? There you go. Thank you. Deceptively tanky. Like you don't expect him to survive as many hits as he does, especially in lane. He harasses so well.
Yeah, the hero's got really high strength gain. Decent starting armor too, actually. It's pretty crazy for an int hero.
I feel
Ranged
like
int hero with that.
if I want to win a pub and I'm playing support, I just pick Jakiro. Like,
Yep.
easy game.
Yeah. I think Jakiro and Undying are my two favorite pub supports right now. I think Undying just because the hero's like near broken right now. It's like a tier above all the others from what I've felt. And the Jakiro just like it does so many things that are like really good for like pub play, but also in general. Like it has really good lane harass, right? You gives you tower push, which is really nice to have built
Yeah.
into a non-core hero.
Lane clear, if you are behind
Yep.
with macro power, also a really
Yeah.
good team fight with that too. It's on a really low cooldown as well, so like you don't have to worry about using macro power to like push out a lane and then go try and fight somewhere else.
I'm glad that spell's been like buffed to a point where it's actually usable. I remember it was like pretty garbage for anything
Yeah,
outside of wave clear.
the lingering effect is definitely necessary for it to be usable.
For sure.
Otherwise, it would just be ugh.
Yeah. Also, it's a good hero to pair with Phoenix because you can Ice Path on top of the egg and set up that team fight.
I'm not a big fan of the Warlock here. Like, it's one of the supports that has a really good animation, but it's still really low base attack time to hit a Phoenix egg, and I thought that that's what they would go for with the other support. That might also be why they wanted to get rid of Wyvern as well, just because, you know, popping the Q and then hitting the egg is really easy.
Yeah, I think my guess is Toilet Veil, either they're going to pick up a core that fills the egg hitting role. So you can grab something like a Clinks or something on those lines. Or I honestly think the Lifestealer might be enough on its own. Like, you can just pop Rage. There's no real...
Yeah, I guess I'm just going off of my rule of thumb is always you want two heroes to hit egg in case one gets stunned or for whatever other reason can't hit it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting because I know, like you mentioned Snapfire, that hero's still in the pool. I think that would have been a really good option to pick up just because you get the egg hitting, but also like you're picking Warlock to secure Lifestealer's lane and to give team fight, right? Like those are usually the two reasons I at least see the hero picked, and I feel like Snap kind of does that as well. Like Snap Lifestealer is a strong enough lane where you have Cookie plus, you know, your Q, which has been buffed and makes it a really good trading spell, and then your ultimate, even though it doesn't have like control, it still does a lot of damage, and so having that on top of, you know, the egg hitting probably would have been an interesting option at least. But on the flip side, Warlock's like a really good harass hero, will do well in that lane.
the only it's such a long cooldown on the ultimate. Anti-Mage has been, it actually got picked in the last series I was watching with the Eternal Kings, and god, who were they playing? Eternal Kings Polaris they played tonight? Yeah, I think so.
That sounds right. Yeah.
1-1 in that. Looked pretty solid though. Again, we're looking for right click cores, pairs really well. Into the Lifestealer, it's great too, because obviously if you don't have mana for Rage, there's not much you can do as a Lifestealer. So
yeah. You can kite it Lifestealer really hard. You don't, at a certain point, you're not going to die to Tiny Burst, so I like that a lot. And you're probably not going to die to Warlock Burst either. Like, even the Fatal Bonds, you have Manta, you have, like, a lot of magic resist innately. So you're going to be able to do that. There's no Split Pusher yet on Toilet Veil, so you can play the map really well. The only negative about this pick is I think it opens you up to getting counterpicked by the offlane here. We'll see what they take, but I'd imagine...
Yeah, if they're assuming it's going to be an offlane Tiny,
Kunkka,
they could really flex two of these heroes right now, though. Like Kunkka mid. Lifestealer Warlock is probably going to be their safe lane. There's a lot of regen. But Tiny could go mid, Kunkka could go mid, and either one in the offlane as well. You could throw like a Kunkka 4 maybe as well.
Yeah, I really like the flexibility of the draft holds because they can, you know, pick another hero that can kind of be thrown around and then just decide lanes after, which is really cool. Kunkka is also really nice because you can X Anti-Mage, so you have that extra control just there. And it's also kind of nice, it'll be interesting because Toilet Veil is kind of like committing on this team fight, right? Like they have Warlock, they have Kunkka, they have Tiny to start fights, a Lifestealer bomb. So like versus an Anti-Mage or even split pushing, they should be able to take fights like at any point in this game as long as Warlock ults up, I feel. And so...
Which, those are kind of contradictory there, because like Warlock ult, once you use it, it's down for like 2 minutes. Like, that, it's a really heavily time gated spell, which is my only issue with like the speed of their lineup.
Yeah, I feel like it's they're not they don't need to play that fast. It's more I think they just need to play like apply fairly constant pressure. And it doesn't have to be like using the Warlock ult necessarily. It's just like the threat of having a Warlock ult going into any tower push with this team is like, if you're gonna defend, you're probably gonna lose.
Yeah, it's like, how do you take the fight as pretenders when you have that threat?
Yeah. For these bans, I think these bans make sense. You got 2 BKB piercing, or really just high lockdown heroes against anti-mage. Axe and Legion are pretty good.
I'm kind of like Pretenders draft a bit more.
I don't know.
They really only have one egg hitter on Toilet Bell.
Yeah.
Mars, I guess, is good with the Warlock. You're gonna get some, all the circle ult action there. But
that's so weird. But I feel like they have almost too much team fight. If that makes sense. Like,
yes, totally.
What does their team do in terms of playing the map? Like,
how are they gonna catch an AM?
Well, you have X, right? But that's it. It's like X or
Spear. I guess you get an ult fast enough on Mars.
Yeah, but I mean, if you throw ult, like, there's still an animation. Like, if AM's quick enough, you could just dodge, right? And then Bat Rider pick.
To get it on
this is a great Bat pick, by the way, because
can't 3 of these heroes get out of the Mars ult right now? Like, just by default.
Yes. This Mars pick really is throwing me off. I don't know if it's like a hero pool thing for Yorick or if it's a comfort pick. I know he's played it a bit this past week.
He has.
It seems a little odd. Like, I would not want to play Mars against anti-mage. I'd prefer something with a little more lockdown. I'd even be fine playing Kunkka against it in lane and getting a different mid. Also, this Bat pick, really nice, because normally, you see Bat and there's like Lifestealer to deal with it, but running Bat mid versus Kunkka or Mars, like, in theory you could put Mars mid. Like, it should dumpster those heroes.
I think how they're going, you were saying they're going to struggle to play the map on Toilet Bell. How they're going to deal with that, they're going to throw Sensei Raven mid on Kunkka, and he's probably going to get a bots, before 20 minutes, and that's how they're going to at least deal with some of the split push that AM throws at you.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bat Rider, too. He's going to be doing somewhat similar games there. Kunkka can help out with that slightly. But yeah, the rest of the team is kind of slow. It looks like they lose late into an AM. I think AM beats Lifestealer late.
I look at this. I think this game is like, if this game goes past like 30, 35 minutes and the AM's not shut down, I think this game is entirely in Dire's hands.
What do you think the strongest timing for Toilet Bell's lineup is?
I honestly think they're strong until AM has the items he needs to fight. Like, I think any 5v5 will be in their favor before AM gets like Manta at least. I think what they need is any Lifestealer to hit probably either a 2 or 3 item timing. Something that can let Lifestealer hit towers, because that's really their tower pressure, and the other heroes really do it. And they need to be at a point where he can like rage, hit towers is enough of a threat that AM can't just split push to dodge.
Yeah. He needs to get like a Deso or something to push probably. Yeah. Which you don't always want to be forced to get a Deso on Lifestealer, especially when you have a Slardar too. You can kind of usurp some of that like minus armor, but we'll see what I want to go for. Never mind, they don't have the Slardar. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's all good. They're against the Slardar. Get like an AC.
There's gonna be Fat Sloth, no. Bottom on Lifestealer and Warlock. Respectively there. Sensei Raven on the mid, Kunkka. We do have a big rotation. I believe bottom. I don't know if this was a smoke. It looks like it because Guam actually has the empty slot.
I don't think they smoked out for this. I think they just walked from what I saw.
Which would have been Tangos then or something. Or a ward. Top lane 2, it is just Double King alone at the moment. Malefic and Yorick are top lane. Fight over the bounty rune there. Fat Slot does not want to walk around these trees. Has to be a little careful how they approach this. Warlock's going to get underneath the tower. Can Hype actually find a target? They don't have the stuns. They don't have the slows. First blood not occurring right now. And I think that's just going to give up top bounty rune as well in the river.
Yeah, it's not a huge commitment, so it's fine. I think they would have had to wrap around, though, because they don't really have a good gap close for that, but it's fine. 2 runes each team. Normal stuff. I don't know. These lanes look... We'll see how these go, because first of all, like mid should be favored for the Bat Rider, right? Like this hero just should get a couple levels. You get any amount of stacks on top of
Rice Boy Bat Rider.
Yeah. But the only thing I'll say on the flip side is last time I saw Sensei Raven play an unfavorable matchup against a Bat, he ended up solo killing him mid. So we'll see.
I
A lot of
think,
matchmaking points
yeah.
there.
The thing with Kunkka, too, is you can go farm up the jungle relatively quickly, even if you do lose a lane really hard early on. And he's super tanky, too. This is 5 stacks from a Bat Rider, and he's still not taking that much damage from the right click. Like,
Yeah.
not bad.
Kunkka's like, compared to last time I saw him play a hero against Bat, like, it's a very, like, innately tanky hero as well, so you're not... Bat needs, like, a couple levels before the pressure really starts to come out. But I'd imagine once he gets level 2 or 3, this will become a lot.
Yeah. And
He'll be forced to
Kunkka,
go
yeah, he's going to get some early levels, too, or at least an XP advantage, just slightly on the Kunkka, since he can push the lanes out with the Tidebringer. Bottom lane, too, looks like pretty even right now. Hype actually went for the stun first outside of the bash, which is a little interesting.
Yeah, he grabbed it before they did their wraparound, so I'm guessing it was because he wanted to have it prepped. A little bit of a mistake, because I agree, you kind of want the bash against these melee heroes to just apply pressure, but... On the flip side,
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
it can secure CS, so, like, even though it's only 80, like, the ability to, like, hit a range creep and then stun is pretty nice, but... I don't know. He's got both now.
Yeah, he does pick it up now. It's going to be hard to kill Lifestealer no matter what. And Fat Sloth's also doing the smart thing here of saving a level just in case he needs the rage to escape. I miss First Blood top. They've killed off Malefic. That's a solo kill, I think, from Guam.
Yeah.
Not something you see often. 1-0 for Guam there.
This hero outputs a lot of magic damage. That's all I'm going to say. It's like, you can't underestimate Jakiro's Q. It's super good, and then like you can't trade with it, especially on a tiny where it's like all your damage is your spells. Top lane actually seems to be going pretty decently for the Dire. Anti-Mage is already level 3.
Yeah, Pretender's playing this pretty well.
Pretty good.
Malefic, he doesn't really have a space in this game yet. Probably wants to get level 2 here, and then even just with how tanky Jakiro is, I don't think he can pick up a kill.
Yeah,
on that pesky dragon.
This laning stage, I expected to be pretty quiet because both the carry heroes are pretty hard to kill in this game. Like, you're not going to really burst an anti-mage unless he's really out of position, and Lifestealer just presses Q and like all the Phoenix damage, which is normally your, way you win lanes as a Phoenix is like it's all gone. So you're gonna have issues there. Mid, I'm expecting to be a wash, even though this should be favored for Bat. I don't think either player is going to be.
Yeah, it is so far only 5-2 for Sensei. And Rice Boy is just doing a good job. This is again what we expected with the Bat Rider. He's still doing okay in terms of XP, but yeah, it's the farm is where the detriment's happening.
Yeah, but I think you're kind of right. Is that what'll happen is he'll get this XP, and then he'll eventually just start rotating the jungle. Probably if it's level 5.
Might just die right here, actually. Gonna get X'd up on the Bat Rider. Rice Boy still diving underneath the tower. Cannot keep the flames on top of him, though, and he doesn't want to dive any further. Already tanking a lot of those tower shots.
We got the classic Bat Rider issue where your opponent has a 20 charge wand, right? So
just turns it around. Rice Boy actually needs to be careful right here because he's getting a little bit low himself, and he's out of regen other than a Fairy Fire. Who can get the rune, though? It's not even going to spawn in the top lane. It will be a regen. KTA's already over here scouting it out. Going to try and stop Sensei from picking it up. Sensei needs to take this a little carefully. We'll just back off, which is super unfortunate because that is a big rune for Rice Boy. Regen on the Bat Rider.
Yeah, that's what feels bad because basically his tower dive goes unpunished because of that. And just like that, you got to contest. But, even with that, you finally got the 3 points in, what is that? Tidebringer.
He's going for it again, though. Just immediately after with the regen rune, he knows he's strong enough, trying to dive underneath Sensei, trying to tick it out. Up to 4 stacks is more than enough. Flames will drop him. Knows actually come with the rotation. Yeah, he's not happy about that one either.
I mean, that's 100% the rune. But, I mean, they did rotate in the support to secure it, so you can't completely blame it on luck there. They definitely set up for it, and this lane becomes a lot harder for the Kunkka now.
Yeah, and you see, they get a bash on Fat Slap. Hype goes for the stun. He just pops Rage, walks away. No big deal.
Yeah, Fat Slap's also got the chainmail. It's something that pretty common for carries to do against life, or Sidar in particular is like build the chainmail first when you're going phase. Just makes it so you pretty much
try
don't take
and go
any
for
damage.
something right. I don't know if they can actually make this happen though. Both I think it's just harass for the most part, although it doesn't feel too great going into a lifestealer. He's got the phase boots picked up now as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have the pressure because Phoenix can't really rotate anywhere, so all you can really do is try to deal with this lifestealer, but...
Top lane, Double King actually blinking in. They're going to try and bring down Maleficent, but the spear away, save from Yorick.
Yeah.
They're actually all super low in this lane, though. Maleficent could maybe pop a mango and go for a stun, but he's just walked a little bit too far. The blink forward from Double King yet again. Guam picks up the kill. 2-0 on the double-headed dragon. DHD. Forgot it used to be called that.
Yeah.
Sensei Raven's going to throw out the boat mid. There's actually a dive in from KTA. Does dissuade them from going any further.
Yeah, I think he was maybe not dead guaranteed, but there was definitely a threat of it if he didn't throw that out. There are 3 seconds or so left on the Firefly, so he's got to play careful. No. They're starting to invade his jungle, is what it seems like. So, like, this is going to be kind of difficult. Lasso coming out mid.
Oh, actually missed
dropping the half health.
Yeah, I don't know if he has the damage though. Up to 4 stacks. He's still got a wand charge, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Got up to 10, but didn't want to pop it. Probably wouldn't have saved him anyway. Wasn't a rotation that time. There's a stun top on the Double King. It's not enough damage. Blink forward from Double King. So aggressive. Spear into the trees. A couple of right clicks from Malefic. Is it going to be enough? He does have to back off as they kill off the Mars. Yorick falling once. Maybe they can get Malefic as well. Well, I'm actually running forward with a slow. The ultimate blink coming out from Double King. It secures Guam a double kill. 4-0 right now.
This is a pretty dream Jakiro game. And I guess you're kind of seeing, like, part of the issue of Tiny as a hero is, like, the hero kind of lives and dies by his ability to burst other heroes in the game. But when you're up against these 2 extremely tanky laners, like, what are you supposed to do, you know? And, like, also, you don't have a...
Is Double King... He might just die here if he lands a spear. I think he can do it. Yeah. Yorick, don't want to scare him away, though.
I think posturing's okay. Like, I don't think AM should ever get skewered in this lane. Like, the cast time on spear without the setup makes it really hard. And, like,
yeah,
Tiny's not the greatest hero to set up spear. Like, you can potentially do, like, you know, avalanche in the spear and stuff.
Can the blink away happen in avalanche? I don't think so,
no.
Right? Because the cast is a little bit longer.
So it can't, but you can kind of still move, right? So it's not guaranteed, I guess is my point. You're not playing with, like, I don't know, like a Rubik or something where you can always set up spear combos. So
this might be a dead... no, the stun through. Malefic's just trying to make his own space. A couple of hits from Guam, from Double King. The ult coming through again. Mega kill streak for Guam. We've seen it twice. Salve out for Double King.
Yeah. I mean, you see, like, Malefic just keeps going on this Jakiro and bursting him, and then he drops to half health. And then there's no follow-up damage, right? Like, Tiny doesn't contribute anything outside of the combo, so it's like, well, you blew everything. You can't damage Anti-Mage. You know, Anti-Mage had, like, 200 health. He didn't feel threatened at all. And then you just die, right?
Yeah.
What can you do?
And I think this is kind of the issue with the Tiny 4 right now, is it doesn't really feel like he has much to do in this game.
Yeah.
A lot of his potential to burst anybody is gone.
Yeah.
Can't get that blink.
I think he just, like, can't go back top. You seem to leave this Mars to its own devices, let Mars get levels, because it's not like having Mars ult either helps this Tiny do anything, right? So you see he's already smoked up, heading to bot. They're trying to make something happen, because...
Yeah, he is really low on hype, too. But I believe that's a salve out. Could still make this kill happen, though.
Yeah.
There's 3 heroes here.
This is really good. He's identified that top's just not a place to be.
Oh, there is a TP down from the Batrider. They're going to try and go for a kill at the same time. The stun's going to be there from Malefic as well as the toss. Do they have the burst? He's not quite dead yet. Couple of hits from Fat Sloth coming through. The wand popped. He's actually going to live. The stun through. Malefic's just going to lose his life. They do kill off the Phoenix all the way in the mid lane. It's actually Sensei pulling that one off, but
still going bottom.
They're still going. They're trying to get a pull over onto No, killing off the Warlock potentially, but in comes the Mars. There's 2 stuck inside the Mars ult. They're right on the walls as well. The spear into Guam. He finally loses that kill streak. Fat Sloth actually getting a double kill with 1 click right there.
Yeah, this just kind of comes back to, I think, you know, we've been talking about how things have been going really well for the Dire. Actually,
what
so
a
keep going.
torrent. They catch out Hype as well. The X, can they get another stun though? They do get the slow. He's in the river, so he runs extra fast, but York cannot find the space for the spear.
Yeah, but as I was saying, like, we talked about this in the draft, that even though, like, lanes have gone pretty well for the Dire, like, the team fight from the Radiant team is just super good. So anytime you bring in heroes and you're taking, like, a 4 or 5-man fight, it's just going to feel so in favor of the Radiant, even with them feeling behind or with these kills being fed early. Like, you can see the network's still pretty even with the, like, amount of deaths that have happened mid. So,
I think Sensei might have just thought, or not Sensei, Rice Boy might have just thought they didn't have the numbers there. Went a little bit too deep for the lasso. You really want to use this ability to get pickoffs and not start engagements.
He also dropped it on the Warlock, which, feels a little weird. Like, even if that kill works out, you're trading your playmaking ability for a position 5. But, nice rotation from Yorick, right? Like, that, it worked out really well, too, because you rotate in on the Mars and right as Firefly's ending, so there's no risk of him, like, flying over the wall or evading the Mars ult. So it led to an easy kill there, which is really nice. That's really what they needed to, keep there from being a huge snowball coming out from this Batrider. Let's see.
2-1. He does have the bots already up in the Batrider. Is Sensei gonna go for them soon? He's actually picked up the phase boots, so my prediction of him going bots was incorrect.
Yeah, I think this is fine because...
Mars ult popped. He can't actually fly over this. The spear is going to miss, though. They do get the X back onto the Torrent boat. Incoming as well. There's a big stun on the back. Malefic doing so much damage. The kill off one. Guam picking that. Maybe he can get Malefic over the cliff. Does get him trapped a bit. The Phoenix Egg is going to be popped, but nobody's really there to hit it. They don't really care about it anyway. It's not going to stun them. Hype's going to get healed as well as torrented. Can he actually survive this burst here? The shove back from York as well as the spear. X to bring him back just slightly. Stun is really long, but he's actually still running from this. Throws out another stun. Slithering Crush doing its work. It's only going to be one kill, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, they killed Guam. I was going to say that. That was a lot of spells.
We might get one more. Malefic gonna get stunned up, so it is gonna be a 1-for-1 technically. It's a bit later, but still.
That was a lot of spells to be used with, like, only one death happening there.
Malefic doing a lot of work in that fight too.
Yeah. The main thing here is that while that happened, AM just kept farming, right? Like, the entire Radiant team rotated over. They're still trying to go. They got the mid tower.
They did get the mid tower. Rice Boy. He doesn't have the lasso for another 40, so I don't know if they can make an engagement here. Guam's, of course, going to miss the ice path. Classic Guam, but they still get the kill. It doesn't matter.
It's a nice job from the, no Warlock. We'll put it that way. But it's a good turnaround kill, even though they lost their tower, which this makes things a little rougher. But, like, all this time, Double King's just been farming. He's about, what is that, like 400 gold off from his Battle Fury? 500 gold off?
What? So this is going to be, like, what do you say, like 16-minute Battle Fury? 15-minute?
15-minute, because if you don't get it before, you're going to get it with the runes. But it's pretty good timing, I think. Like, he had a fairly free lane, but even so, I think the fact that, I feel like my timings are a little slow on this patch on AM in general. He also, one Wraith Band power treads. Makes a little bit of sense.
Wonder, is there actually an average timing for AM Battle Fury in pro games? I guess this wouldn't be pro games, but IMMR at least.
I don't know it off the top of my head. I feel like it's been about, like, if it's like a free game, it can be as early as 12, but probably around like 13 or 14. So I'd say this is like about at it.
It's a probably average timing then, which, I mean, if you're playing in AM, that's still a pretty good sign. Like,
what we'll say is that, for the fact that Guam stole, all those kills in lane, it's probably a fine timing.
He could have had it like a minute sooner. Damn it, Guam.
That's why you flame your supports for stealing your kills. Nice spell dodge on Sensei Raven as well.
Yeah.
That's like one thing, like, really, Sensei Raven is the only main lockdown for this AM, and, like, if you dodge X, like, you're gonna escape every time. There's no other real good follow-up there.
They're gonna stun up York bottom. There's a little bit of a rotation, too. There's only 2 heroes down. He's just gonna use the ult to save himself for now. KTA gonna take a little bit of damage from it, so he needs to be careful. The stun coming through. Guam hits one, as well as the stun from Malefic saving his teammate.
Oh, that's interesting. The
It's a
spear plus
max
toss.
distance ice path, and the spear into toss over. I believe
Pretty
that can
cool.
get people out of the Mars ult as well.
It can, yeah. It's one of those like Z-axis
You gotta be
weird
careful
things.
with that.
What is this Slardar building? I guess it's drums. He says, I don't know why he has a PMS queued up. It's kind of weird. Phoenix going Yules. So I think that makes sense.
I came a long way.
Like, you can disrupt the X combos. You can, purge off fatal bonds.
Is this
Stop
the
it,
right
and get
play
used.
from Pretenders, though? It looks like they're positioning bottom. Probably just take a tower, but it could lead to a fight, which, again, with all the abilities up, other than the Mars ult, like, I don't know if that's the greatest idea. They know Malefic is under here, though.
I think it's fine because you're doing this quick enough. You know that they rotated out of the Mars, so he can't show up at all. I think 4v4s are fine, especially since they'd have to TP in 1x1 at this point. The power's already at half. There's a catapult. But they're just going to trade top. I don't think this really benefits either team.
Yeah, pretty much going to fall at relatively similar times here. 4 or 5 aim popped a bit later by Pretenders.
Yeah,
but still 60 minutes tier 1 tower safe lanes, both dying.
One thing that's interesting is Fatsoff went for this Midas. I don't think I've seen Lifestealers going Midas on this patch that often. I'm sure he's going to flame me for saying that.
For sure. There's a lot of heroes down here. They're going to have the stun. They're going to have the lasers. It's all over for Malefic.
Yeah, unfortunate. He's still like 1k off of his blink. And with that, they're on a rotate top. Lag's still there. But they know that without... Like, I think 5v5s are hard. Or 4v5s because your AM's farming. But you could probably take 4v4s with a good lasso start. Just because, there's no Tiny, and then you have another teamfight hero out of the fight with your lasso. It should be fightable. The other thing I was saying, though, is Fatsoff went for this Midas. I feel like I haven't seen Midas built that often on Lifestealer. Just because you already have this innate attack speed built into your hero, and it kind of slows down your timings a bit. Maybe he felt like he had a free enough lane that it's fine. But I don't know. I feel like if you just go straight, he could have been really close to Deso at this point, if not had it. And like your Armlet Deso timing is pretty powerful on this hero. You can chunk down a lot of heroes with it.
Leave Toilet and Spence are also streaming as well. Spence being hype. Or wait, Toilet? What the heck is Toilet? Is that?
It's no.
Oh my god.
You gotta have a bunch of names. But yeah,
it's too much.
It's cool that there's a lot of players who stream their perspective. I really enjoy getting to watch. Like I've watched a fair amount of when.
The best is when. Oh no, I totally cut you off. You don't have to apologize.
No, I mean I'd say I've watched a fair amount of Flesh Canoe or No or whatever he's going by. His player streams. It's really good hearing how teams communicate and make calls.
The best feeling is beating a team and then going to watch their perspective.
Yeah, it's always nice, especially when you get to hear what they think you were doing right, or
think you were doing wrong. Yeah, that's the best part. It's like, well, it somehow works.
Yeah, my favorite part about watching
this is not the TP, I think. On to KTA. He's going to get stunned up immediately with the spear, but he's on the low ground. It's still enough space for Fatsoff to hit. It is a 1-for-1 trade at the moment. Warlock also dropping. The two big teamfight ults are down. Fatsoff popping the magic unities. Macropyre in through the Mars ult. Hype actually dodging some of this. The boat's still connecting, though. I don't know if they can take this fight with the rum buff on top of them. They're still going to go for Fatsoff, though. He's getting super low. Can they get the bash? He does not have a lot of armor, especially. Maybe going to try and bring down York. He does have the spear away, but in comes Double King. This is an early rotation. Down York's going to go. Fatsoff trying to get away. He's really low, having to pop the armlet. It's not the right timing. Sensei also going to get chased down. There is a stun. Guam again making the plays. The ice path through onto 2. Wow. It's a team wipe.
Yeah, and I think that picking off the Warlock at the start of that was the biggest thing that happened there, right? Like they used Lasso on there. They kind of committed all in on there, but you can see like without this AoE Warlock ult, the Dire team can kind of kite around. They also took a fight with their item timings, right? You got this Yules that came up on the bat. I think drums coming out in Slardar at the start of that. And they were able to kind of dodge a lot of the spells that came out from the Radiant team. and just like both felt pretty ineffective. And same thing with Marzol, because you drop all of them, and then Rice Boy just yules himself, but all of a sudden you just negate like over half the effective use of those spells. And then finally, like having the AM being able to rotate into these fights to clean up is really huge.
He's on his way to Manta. He's super close to it.
And I think once he gets his Manta, he can comfortably show up to fights instead of doing what he did there and just showing up at the end.
You're gonna have to dodge the X, dude. You could just torrent, or you can Manta dodge it. Really?
Yeah.
Yule's dodge, of course, for Guam, or not Guam. Rice Boy, very similar models.
He actually walked up and took the rune just in front of those two heroes. It's kind of funny. They could have denied it.
Not able to use the Invis rune. Obviously, if it was a more impactful rune, it might have mattered, but...
Yeah, I mean, Invis is possibly the least useful now. Lasso bottom, by the way.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy kill into Malefic. Does throw out the stun just to make a bit of space, but Hype is there. Slithering Crush coming out.
Sad Tiny game right now. Like, I don't know. He still doesn't have Blink. It's almost 20 minutes in. He's been picked off a couple times.
It's the first pick Tiny too, and it just feels like it's not a great first pick. Because there's really nothing for the hero to do. They kind of drafted around it if they wanted to throw it mid, if they wanted to throw it, in the off lane. You're playing into an AM, which doesn't feel great.
Yeah, I still think that's... Part of the issue is laning it with the Mars. You don't have that, like, tower pressure, or not tower pressure, sorry, the hero pressure you normally have, just because of the heroes they were up against. Like, I think if you had something that could control the anti-mage more reliably, it might work, because if you can, get toss combos into place. It looks like they're setting up top, though. Invis Rune coming into play. Rice Boy
Hype running forward, maybe looking for a stun. They get vision on top of Yorick, but can they really chase this far? There's not a blink dig or anything yet on Rice Boy, but just look how fast he is. Can't fly through this. The Mars ult actually coming out, making a bit of space, as well as the slow from No. Does get the blink through. It actually it comes on a courier. Middle of the fight, the egg popped in the background of the fight, as well as the Warlock ult. Can they hit this egg in time? Fat Sloth trying to go for it, but the stun from Hype gets the egg off. That's gonna maybe turn the fight, because Rice Boy getting super low, but as well as Fat Sloth does pop the blast, so they bring down Fat Sloth. That's a 1-for-1 at the moment, but it's not looking great for the rest of the team. It's still a little bit of a trade, though, as they're getting some damage out. Malefic's actually rotated on the backside. In comes the blink from Double King. He's a bit late to this fight, but they've already gotten 2 kills. It's a 2-for-2. Can they keep chasing Hype with the ult over on a Malefic, trying to keep vision up? There's a couple of hits going out on a Sensei Raven as well, popping the ult. This is Kunkka completely out of mana, and I don't know if he can actually escape this one, because the Sunray going to secure it. Hype still getting stunned up by Malefic, as well as the spear coming through. He's getting a little low. KTA has a dive in a couple seconds here if they want to keep chasing. Malefic with the toss as soon as he gets through it. Yorick might try and turn it. He does have spear in just a bit. Double King has another blink forward if he wants to continue chasing. Malefic doing a nice job just hiding in the trees. The rest of the team TPing Hype. This might be a bit too far, because the rest of the team is back up. This has gone on so long. KTA without a dive probably just has to GTFO at the moment. Malefic, Double King going back in, trying to kill off the Warlock, but they're right on top of the Phoenix. Double King can still get the blink out, but can he get a kill for his toil here? Is going to get stunned up into the Mars, all blink away from Rice Boys who didn't take damage. And I think finally we'll just get the two teams backing off.
Wow, what a long fight. I think the biggest thing I'm seeing in these fights is that Toilethel's got a lot of control built up, for these fights. They've got Boat, they've got the Mars ult, but they just don't have the damage right now. And it feels like they just dropped this Mars ult on like 1 or 2 heroes. You spear one maybe, and then nobody dies, or you lose like 1 or 2 heroes, but then the rest of the heroes just come in and... Oh, my dog wants into the room.
Yes.
Come on. Don't interrupt me. Come on.
Yes. Get dog. There is a Boat through bottom rum buff on Sensei if they want to continue to chase us. The rest of the team is rotating just a bit. The pushback from Rice Boy, the laser coming through does not get canceled. Malefic just barely missing the stun there, is going to get lasered up himself. Rice Boy maybe continue chasing. He does have Yules as well as a blink. Going to use the Yules. There's the Yules from York as well, setting up the spear. Rice Boy going to get stunned up. There is the egg. This is not a great one though, because there is not a stun in time there. Rice Boy is getting super low. Hype tried to go for the save, going for the TP. They don't have a stun, but in comes Double King with the ultimate. Everybody's just dropping. He has to get speared away. Might get the kill onto Yorick too. Yes, he does. Double King with a double kill. I feel like I've said that so many times over the
such a great
years.
anti-mage game. He also had a DD for that, so that helps a lot, obviously. But you can just see, like, at this point, he has no fear whatsoever going into these fights. He's got his Manta, Basher already completed, like, but he's just blinking forward aggressively. And I feel like once you hit that point on AM where you're just no longer scared of the enemy heroes, the game becomes very difficult to lose because you can just output all the damage you need. Like, who cares if, you know, they throw all these spells? You just blink on them, hit them a couple times, it's over.
And it feels like as soon as he gets this Manta, he doesn't have to be afraid of anybody.
Yeah.
Like, he's just blinking into 4 heroes and getting kills right there.
Yeah, and I don't know. They did manage to kill an egg finally, which is nice. I'm glad to see that, but I think
it's kind of a weird placement from KTA.
Well, I think they're, yeah. I felt almost panicky because you're trying to save your Bat Rider at that point and kind of prolong it so that your AM can show up, but it did its job. Like, I don't know. At least from my perspective, if you have a fight, no matter who dies, if AM dies or gets a double kill, it's probably fine.
Oh, Rice Boy with the blink forward doesn't find the last target yet, but I think they know there's a Warlock here. Yeah. They might know there's a Warlock here. Yes, they do. The laser through. You got to move away from this one. The heal actually being popped. He's still super low. Double King actually committing for it. The boat coming through just to get the buff. Doesn't actually connect. They do get the stun on the back as well, trying to bring down Guam. Gets the Force Staff away. The Mars ult just to keep Double King and KTA contained, but they kill off Malefic as well. And it's not looking great. They're slowly just winning all of these fights. Sensei Raven getting pulled back with the lasso again. Guam hitting a 2-man ice path. Batsloth gonna kick out on the backside of this one. Can he jump into a creep? Does he have enough space? No, he doesn't. 27-10, and this is a great game for Double King right now.
Yeah, they just understand that if this Warlock isn't allowed to drop rock, these fights can't be lost anymore. And so they just commit onto the hero, take him out, and then you can see there's, on the Dire team, there's at least 2 heroes of Yules'. Got Hype, who's like not your ideal X target, and then even Guam as a Force Staff, right, to dodge these boat combos. And so unless you hit it like pixel perfect, you're not going to be able to do stuff to half these heroes, and the other half you just literally can't because they just Yules dodge everything that happens.
There's a stun up on Malefic just to make a bit of space. Rice Boy's getting a little low, but I mean, you don't really care if you lose the Bat Rider at this point. They will take the tier 3.
Oh, there you go, dog. You can go out. You can go out. Yeah, it's just a free tower, and like, there's no punish either that can really come out from Toilet I feel like. I mean, they might have to take this fight at Roche if they see it coming. They can. Like, they have the ability.
They totally can. Like you said, yeah. They have the 5-man team fight here. All the abilities are up,
and they're going.
This is a Slardar Eggs, though, so there's a bit of a benefit there. The Marsal coming out a bit early. It does stun up Double King as well as Lifestealer getting on top, but this is a great egg placement. They can't even get on top of it. Double King's already out. Hype's the only one inside the pit. Gonna get hit by the boat, but again, it's just the Slardar. He's healing up from the eggs. He's still surviving. Jor taking down. They brought down Lifestealer as well. Double King getting a little low, but he should just be able to blink away. No, he's even going forward. Even more. Malefic's already used everything. Everybody just ticking down. No, as well. Sensei Raven might just be the last target. Double King with another double kill might make it a triple. GG called. Yeah. Fantastic fight. They put the 2 heroes necessary to take Roche inside of Roche. Everybody else just standing outside of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this last pick Mars just did not do what it needed to do. Like between that and Kunkka, they didn't really have the AM answers they needed to pick after a 17th pick AM. And then you just see they're also just lacking damage. Like, you have all these team fight ults, and it's great. You just throw them all into the pit. And then, like, what do you do after? The only hero that, like, has sustained damage, it feels like, is this Lifestealer.
Did Lifestealer get a slow start in this game? Like, he does pick up the Deso right at the end there. Or not really right at the end, but it was, like, within the last 5 minutes.
I'm going to check really quick. I moved this into the lobby. I honestly think the issue is that he went this Midas. And I don't want to flame Fats off because, like, he's a very good, better player than I am, but from what I've seen, his Lifestealers just haven't been going Midas, and they've been going straight Armlet Deso or Armlet MKB, depending on the game. Because you have to hit that. This hero is very good once it gets to the point where it outputs a lot of damage, right? Because the more damage you have, it transfers into survivability because of your E. Like, there's a lot of... This hero scales very well, but you have to hit that scaling time, because if you're just not able to do enough in these fights, like, damage-wise, you're just going to melt like any other hero. And Midas delays that. Is the way I look at it. You already have a built-in right click. Like, sure, it helps with that, but you don't need it. And like once you need this like armlet deso timing. That's like when you want to go.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. He went for phase boots and then picked up the Midas as well. So it kind of delayed it a little bit into that 11-minute mark. And when you're playing against an AM, that just feels like a really dangerous game to play.
Yeah, I think he felt in a commanding position after the landing stage, which he did. He was definitely top net worth. But I think I don't know if they respected this anti-mage, like how free of a game he had, or just simply based on the draft, how free the game was for the anti-mage. And like, if you're against a free anti-mage game, you need to sure as hell be ending the game before the anti-mage is able to contribute to fights, right? Or at least apply enough pressure. And so like going Midas in a game like this feels like I'm not going to say it's like inherently a mistake, but it feels like either a misread of the situation or a questionable. It just slows you down too much, and so I'm not entirely sure about it.
Nice games from Guam, Hype, Double King. Honestly, a lot of pretenders playing really well in this game one.
Yeah, I don't want to flame Toivola. I think this was really well done. I mean, Guam, really nice laning stage. Really understanding the strengths of his hero. I think the last pick, Batrider, obviously worked out really nicely. The hero didn't really have that many counters in this game. And being able to shut down Sensei Raven, I think, is really key for being able to play against Toilet Valve. Because Sensei Raven is, like, super good player, period. So, like, having the ability to just keep him from having a snowbally game, even on a hero like Kunkka, is pretty huge. And then, I don't know. The only thing that was, like, maybe a little odd of a pick was the Slardar. I'm not sure how that hero necessarily benefited beyond being, a stunner or whatever, but no, like, obvious mistakes. Like, they just played a very solid game of Dota and, like, had a very, fairly straightforward game plan. That
yeah. I don't know. You picked the stuns just to work with the Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and there was some nice stuff to set up eggs that got off.
He did save a couple of eggs in this game. I think it was at least 2 of them.
Yeah, I think there were 2 that I remember. I mean, I don't know about the last fight. There's one, I think, in the Dire Jungle that was really good.
There was one that he did stop them from hitting in the Dire Jungle to go off. And then that fight kind of ended up being a tie, but it still just makes a ton of space for AM. So
yeah. And that's the main thing I think about this draft that really benefited the Pretenders is that their game plan was very solid and pretty much guaranteed to work at a certain point, right? Like, a good AM draft means you just ride that to victory once AM hits its timing, and all you have to focus on is making sure that you don't throw away the game before then. And I think it puts Toilet Vel in like the difficult position of having to deal with this anti-mage, while not also losing to these other high tempo heroes like Bad and Phoenix and Slardar even, which can just apply a lot of pressure as 4.
This is a game too where Slardar doesn't even buy Blink Dagger. Like, you don't need the initiation. You just rush drums into eggs. Like,
that was the one thing that I thought was a little weird was that Mars didn't get an early Blink. Like, he went Yules, which I'm not entirely sure I went Yules over Blink. Like, I would have gone Blink first in this game, I think, just because you want to be able to start these fights on someone other than Tiny, I think. Like, and to be fair, it worked out okay, because a lot of these fights would be started on them, but it felt kind of weird. Like, in that last fight, they infested the Mars, and the Mars basically just walked into the Roche pit to drop his ult. Like, it seems like they had some... It seems a little weird. I don't know. Like, don't know if it was, like a game winning or losing thing, but it felt like the Pretenders always had, like, the jump on Toilet Vel, especially since, like, the Tiny pick kind of fell behind in this game. Speaking of Tiny, it looks like Toilet Vel's banding it out in this game. Sides are reversed as well as pick order, so they must just think the hero's like the most busted option available.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Outside of that, though, everything seems to be normal. Same bands as last game. Jakiro first pick.
Did mark the win. Yes. Thank you, Guam. Guam strats. He's marking the win. Makes it easy.
Oh.
Yeah, the Jakiro first pick feels pretty good. It was a lot later in the draft, I believe, last game. I think it might have been a 3rd pick, but...
Check. Pull it up.
5 seconds remaining.
It was their first pick in the second phase, but they must have been feeling it that game, and like with good reason. I think that hero did a lot of work, and I feel like if you pick a hero like a support and it goes uncountered by the enemy team, especially since they had a core pick to go up against it, it usually feels pretty good to run it back. Rubik's a good response though. It's like a natural counter to the Jakiro because you can steal Ice Path, and like all of Jakiro's spells are really good to take. It feels. It's also just like a solid Malefic hero all around. And then they picked Doom into it, which is a little bit interesting because the Doom hero, I mean, it's a very good hero right now, especially if you're able to flex it between mid and off lane. But at the same time, I think Rubik's one of the best supports against Doom just because of your reliability to steal Doom as an ability. Seems fine, but you have to be really careful when you're playing this matchup.
Yeah. Do you steal the creep abilities if they get casted?
I want to say yes. I'm like 90% sure you do. But in most cases, like Doom just has such a long cast time that you're usually able to reliably steal it.
Mm-hmm.
The Sven pick. I like this Sven pick. I like this.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, like Toilet Folk can go in a lot of different directions with their draft. I really like this though. And it's kind of, I think I alluded to before this even started, is that when you have second pick, it allows you to first phase these carries you normally can't first phase, just because you can then protect them with bans. And Sven is one of those heroes where I think it's really easy to first phase if you just take out a couple heroes that can potentially lock you down and burst you, or just stay elusive enough that it doesn't matter. Also, it's just like a really good hero right now. I think it's, outside of maybe Void, it's the best carry to pick to contribute to teamfight, just because Ags feels so busted with the Dispel talent that you can just pretty much fight into anybody. If you get your eventual Satanic, you can deal with Doom pretty nicely too, because you can, tank through it and just take fights. All in all, it's a solid hero.
You think this is a better opening than, what was it, Tiny
Lifestealer? I don't think that was the issue with their draft last game. I honestly think the issue was their last couple of picks. I don't think Mars did enough for the game, just because, like you mentioned, they already had a couple heroes that can get out of Mars ult already. Like, I think having a balance of single target and, like AoE target would have been better. And then the Kunkka also felt kind of underwhelming since it got countered so hard by the Baron. But that being said, I always think that it's the team that loses his job to present a new take on the game or a new strategy or something. And this is like a really good adaptation. Pick a hero that can, kind of similar to Lifestealer, can, farm a couple items and then really contribute. But it gives them a lot more team fight, which I think is not saying they were lacking last game, but I think it'll allow them to be more flexible with their other picks and maybe put some more damage on their mid, for example, versus feeling pressured to really have that team fight component on Kunkka. Interesting bans coming out. I mean, the AM, I guess they felt like it was strong enough that they don't want to go up against it again. And also, it's like a hero that can deal with Sven pretty well.
They do have the Rubik this time, like you said, if they do want to get some setup in the fog and stuff. But
yeah, I think it helps, but I'm fine with it being banned, especially since like you can pretty reliably dodge Sven stuns, so it's a good ban. And then the other two I think are just respect bans for those players. At least stuff like Faceless Void's still in the pool. I think Void does decently against Sven because it gives you the opportunity to lock that hero down, and pound into it, especially with Jakiro already being picked. Like, Macro Pyre plus Chrono is an insane combo.
They could still pick a Phoenix here too. You get that HP percentage damage with the Sunray.
Jesus, they let that hero through. I'm kind of surprised. Like, if I was Pretenders, I would pick Phoenix next pick. Magnus. Okay.
I mean, they still don't have a lot of egg hitters either. I mean, that's another spell that Rubik can steal pretty, sort of easily.
It's a weird one, right? Because, like, Egg's really good to steal. You can get it reliably, I think. But it's also so far into the team fight, and, like, with all the chaos, it's usually pretty hard to be in a position where you can both steal Egg and make use of it without just dying to get it.
And I feel like a lot of the times, too, Phoenixes are just going to spam the Fire Spirits button.
Oh, yeah,
anyway.
That's true.
Like,
yeah, it's rough. We'll see, though. Let's see if they want to commit to it. I think it's fine. I think you can run it back because none of these heroes are great. I mean, I guess Sven can just kind of beat into Egg. Mag with BKB can do it. So they actually have, I think, Even though they're not great, they might be better egg
They're
hitters
not,
than last
yeah,
game.
they're not great. Like their attack speeds are kind of
Yeah.
but
But you get BKBs. Magnus has an Echo, right? You could deal with egg, I think, with this
yeah,
lineup.
you can skewer. You probably don't want to skewer into it, but
Yeah, you have blink. You can commit. It's not great, but it's doable. I don't look. Like last game, they had nothing. Like they had Lifestealer, and that was it. So I'm trying to.
even then, you still get hit 3 times by a Slouter. It's gonna make a lot of space. They run the Life Stealer this time.
Oh, that is
I'll
a
pair
nice
it with the
Lifestealer
Doom.
pick. Well, we'll see how this goes because on one hand, Lifestealer, like you're looking at two melee heroes. I'm not gonna say two cores because I know that Toilet practice this Magnus as a 5, like a lot of teams have. But you can still trade pretty decently with Sven, especially when Rage is up. On the flip side, I feel like I've seen Svens do better against Lifestealer recently than they have in the past. Just because if you do manage to get on top of him, even if you don't get the stun, like even just Storm Hammering on him, you can kind of get the burst at a certain point. Just because you do so much damage on the Sven hero, especially with Magnus and Power. We'll see, but I think Lifestealer is just a really solid hero right now. It's a very safe carry to pick because you can lane into so many things. And Doom can be a decent infest target as well if you get the Centaur Stomp. So I don't mind it. It's not the most exciting pick, but I think it'll do its job this game. I also don't know what you really want to lane against it. I guess like Venomancer's still in the pool. That could be a decent anti-Lifestealer hero.
Venomancer's pretty good on Pretenders too, because there's a couple of Blink heroes on Toilet Bell.
Yeah, I'm amazed. There's a couple of heroes that just haven't been touched. Lifestealers or not Lifestealer.
I mean, the Phoenix too. Like
Yeah.
I again, they do have more egg hitters, but like it still feels like a game where it's possible.
Yeah,
you could
I
run
think
Phoenix Lifestealer. Honestly, there is an infest bomb opportunity.
just fly and jump this Lifestealer out and then back up to egg. Void Spirit into the bat.
Instant power rider. Yeah, they're not
Wow.
last pinging it this time, but it's probably going to be Rice Boy.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to play Doom mid.
It's really nice because you can choose between Doom and Bat, right? Like both those heroes can be a 2 or a 3. So I actually really like that in terms of the flexibility. It's also just solid. Yeah, this is a great back game. It can lane into any of those 3 heroes on the Dire side, and because you can flex the lanes, even if this last pick is a like anti-Bat hero, you're still gonna be able to have a game because you can mess with your lanes and stuff like you've seen a lot of pro teams doing. So like it a lot. It found a lot of success last game, so it's like one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix
I
it.
think Rice Boy plays it no matter what, or if they do want to mess or mix things up.
I think Rice Boy plays it no matter what. I think he did a good job in it last game, and I feel like you want him playing on this like proactive playmaker, because that's like Bat's gonna be more of a proactive playmaker early game to mid game, and then even when Doom starts doing it, it's more of a team fight thing, not necessarily a pick off play. And so I think having KTA play Doom makes more sense. You've seen this a lot more ever since they changed how like the pick phase works, where you can't see what the enemy's picking. Like I think Ningma does this a lot, right? Where they'll flex their lanes a lot between players, and sometimes you'll have like Weehaw playing side lanes half the time, and then Mind controls mid on occasion. Like it's more about like what play style you want your players on, more so than what lane they're going to at this point. If you're planning on doing flex.
One thing last band. I mean, Toilet Bell probably Void Spirit mid potentially offlane Magnus like carry Sven, or is this like a support Void Spirit? Maybe like a 4 Magnus.
Void Spirit has been so No has run it as a 5 a lot in the past. So and he's like one of the only people I've really seen playing it as a support in the 5 position. But he does it really well. So that's a possibility. It gives him a lot of flexibility. Mag, I expect this to be a core mag. I'd be surprised if they ran Mag as a 5.
They've done it before. The first game I casted by Toilet Bell, they ran
Did
Mag
they?
support.
Interesting.
I believe it was a 5 as well on your.
Oh yeah, that makes
sense.
sense.
No Malefic.
I don't know. They can go in a lot of different directions. It really depends on what they want. Well, I mean, this pick will determine a lot. Because they seem to think that they need a mid on the side of Pretenders. I kind of think the Bat's going to go mid, but
Stormband.
Like I think they need a support. That's what I think Pretenders want is a support here. Like I think they have enough.
Yeah, 4 Doom doesn't feel great.
I mean, I guess 4 Bat is okay. Like you can run a Doom Bat lane and put a lot of pressure on this Sven. Nope, they take the Phoenix. Just run
It
it
was
back.
way later than I thought it was going to be, but
I like this pick. I think they just don't have. It's the same thing. They don't have the egg hitters, and so you really have to decide now, right? On Toilet Velvet, like, are you going to commit to picking something that deals with egg? Because you look at last game and you say, okay, we did not have the answers for Phoenix, right? Do you need a dedicated hero, or are we looking for something completely out of the blue that I was not expecting? Okay.
I mean, nobody was expecting it, dude. That's the strategy.
Nice. Okay, so it's a 5 Void Spirit. I don't think that's too surprising. It's a 3 Magnus. I think that's the best place to put it, because I think York will do well on a playmaker that has this like BKB piercing disable, deal with the life stealer. Like you kind of need this Magnus to have a game, otherwise life stealer probably is a little too hard to deal with during rage. It's also, it looks like it's a Hype their offlaner? Hype's their offlaner, right? Yeah, okay. So it's a form Phoenix, 3-bat. So 3-bat mid Doom. So Doom versus SF. This should be SF favorite, I think. At least in the lane. I mean, both heroes are going to rice pretty hard in the jungle, but I think Shadow Fiend can bully out a Doom with a couple levels. So that might be an advantage. They might think it's a Void Spirit mid or something. I don't know. They have to expect the SF.
Yeah, and the other thing too is Pretenders, they don't have that Slardar stun this time to like kind of protect the egg. It's really just Doom probably taking Centaur Stomp or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. You need that like War Stomp plus Jakiro Ice Path protection, so it's definitely better. I think Toiletville's draft is better than last game. I think this last pick, SF, it'll have a decent lanes, and I think Yorick's on a hero that he's going to be able to have better teamfight contribution with. So I think it's very solid. But on the flip side, Pretenders have a lot of heroes that worked well for them last game. I think this Phoenix put in a lot of work and beat out the last picket is pretty powerful. You've got the Bat, Lifestealer, and Fest combo, which is really, really good. And there's a lot of heroes that can be picked. This SF just becomes food after a while.
It does feel like a bit of a different game in the fact that Double King's going to be playing his hero a lot differently than he was playing the AM. Like, he can't split push or be farming. You probably want to be more involved in the fights early on as a Lifestealer, especially when Bat gets a blink or whatever he goes early on, if like it's a drums or something.
Yeah. The biggest difference for me this game is it feels like the Dire now has the better late game, right? I think Sven is pretty uncontested at a certain point. Might not be till like 3 or 4 items, but once he gets like BKB, like I want to say like BKB, Ag, Satanic are the 3 items he needs, with maybe an SNY thrown in there, and then he's pretty unkillable because you can't doom him and expect to win the fight, and he's going to be able to man up on this Life Stealer. But that still gives you like a 20-25 minute, maybe even longer window where the Radiant should be able to run over fights, because you know, you do have Magnus RP, but SF kind of squishy. If you ever get jumped as Sensei Raven, it's kind of rough. You know, Rubik's good, but Rubik Void Spirit is kind of a greedy support duo, you know.
So Yorick bottom, maybe looking for the skewer away to pick up this bounty, but we'll see if he wants to go for it. And they're kind of action in both lanes right now too. Squam's going to be able to pick up one, just go for a bit of a trade with Malefic. They do just trade the bounty runes completely 2-2.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a little bit of a grief to yourself though as a Magnus if you skewer there. I would have gone for it. I would have gone for it for the rune, but I don't fault York for not. Especially considering how like passive and farm trading this bottom lane is going to be. It's very similar to last game's bottom lane where you have a Lifestealer against a hero that can't really die. So having then power level 1 just to start farming is probably smart. I have not looked at SF since the changes to Necromastery.
I have not either.
Very curious to see how Sensei Raven builds this hero.
Next soul count gets reduced. Next mastery damage per soul gets increased per level.
Yeah, that's
and
the big
no
thing.
longer grants an extra amount for hero kills. So
it basically makes the hero less reliant on the Necromancer, because in return I think they gave him some base damage. Like you're now hitting for about 50 at level 1, whereas before I think it was like 40. So it's a nice change. But
we got rid of the prowess of the Shadow Fiend last hitting by doing that.
Yeah, I know, but maybe that's why it's just not being picked now. It's not that it's bad, just people don't want to be a, you know, there's no challenge there anymore.
It's not like the 1v1 Shadow Fiends anymore where you're both doing like 45 damage.
I know. End of an era, but what can you do? Ooh, missed the Fire Spirit. Close though.
Bottom lane
But-
2, this feels somewhat even right now in his 5 CS for Double King. York keeping up, and this is kind of what you do as a Magnus too. And once he gets a level in Empower. I'm a little surprised he went for 1 level in Shockwave, but that might have been to secure the range creep in that first wave, potentially.
That's what it is, but I also don't think they got the secure. Maybe they did. Never mind. The way there's been a wave that side, so I think it's fine. You want to secure range creep. It's a little weird considering Rubik has Fade Bolt for that, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. You don't need to save a point for skewer really because.
Well, it just feels like if you're going to be last hitting, you probably want to have the level in Empower. Especially into another melee core.
Yeah, it's a little weird to me, especially like if this wasn't Rubik, like they didn't have before that could secure range creeps. I'd understand it, but like you already have Fade Bolt, you don't need to skewer for the last hit.
There's a dive top. No, just might die here. He does have the Fire Spirit on top of him. Is it going to be enough? No. 30 HP. Tangos are keeping him alive right there.
The Phoenix, I mean, it's a great hero for trading, but you really hit your spike at level 3, right? Where you more than double Fire Spirit damage. If he had another level in Fire Spirit, that's 100% a kill. For now, it's still good harass, right? You just want to secure your Batrider's lane for now. Because similar to the mid last game, mid lane, they're actually trading a lot.
Yeah,
Rice Boy
this might be a kill, Rice Boy. He's gotten 1 raise on top of him, but actually out of mana is Sensei.
Oh,
they're both just so low. 150 HP. There is a bottle up on Sensei, though. So he does have that advantage coming out. There is no bottle coming over. No regen, even, to Rice Boy. He might just get forced out right here. Or killed right here. Yeah, that... Ooh. 50 HP.
Yeah, this is going to be the issue for this lane. Yeah, SF's finally got level 2 raise. Like, you can just raise the wave if the Doom ever walks up. So, it should start flipping in favor of the SF. He's already got 24 last hits to the 16 of the Doom, and I think that's just going to continue to Oh!
Yep, and he's just dead.
We won't
He needed that one right click to secure it, and that was it right there.
Yeah, we won't even talk about that. That just
feels a little. It's a harder start for Ice Boy this game compared to last. Jork's gonna maybe die bottom though. There is a very good lift coming out from Malefic, stunning up Guam as well.
I was gonna say
the kill for now.
Sensei Raven got some nice justice. After last game, he died to the regen rune. He managed to find one for himself. So that's gotta feel a little bit good, at least, you know.
Don't you mean? Oh, wait, no, he popped the regen rune and then got the kill on Rice Boy, right? Or is it the other way around? Am I thinking?
It was the other way around last game. He died to Rice Boy.
That's right, and he just gets a regen rune now too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you can, feel a little bit better about the luck. Nice turnaround there. I mean, he won't get a kill with it, but like SF with regen can farm a lot of camps if he wants.
Yeah, and he can. He's got the advantage in lane now, and Shadow Fiend's one of the best heroes at rotating to the jungle as well. Just pop 2 raises, clear any camp for the most part.
Yeah, and that's the main thing I think right now I like about this SF pick, is that you can make these jungle rotations that can pretty much match what a Doom can do. Because like Doom's kind of known as that hero right now in the patch, but SF can do it as well. And also the Radiant doesn't really have the heroes to rotate onto Doom. Or onto an SF, right? Like Phoenix and Jakiro are not ganking heroes, really. So, whereas like normally the way you shut down an SF is you just pressure him in lane and then, run ganks, throw bodies at him. It's kind of hard to do that right now for the Radiant.
A bit of rotation bottom on his Double King. They do have the slow for Malefic. He is going to have a lift again really soon. No, he's actually already used it.
Yeah.
Mind me, he is going to drop there. So, first kill coming out for the Pretenders, but they're still down 2-1, still slightly behind in terms of gold. Fat Sloth, he's not, he's doing okay in this top lane. He's still at least ahead of Hype, but he is not in front of the other carry there.
Yeah, it's a difficult lane, I think, because I know No loves this Void Spirit hero, but This hero's not great at zoning.
This is a dive on the Sensei Raven mid. There is a Doom used as well as a lift. Rotation for Malefic. Riceboy actually tanking up the tower shots. He's probably going to die for this himself, but is going to secure the kill. Riceboy just trying to get away. There isn't a stun out from No. We are going to lose Sven as well in the top lane. They're not going to find Riceboy. Maybe they can get KTA. Nope, the taunt misses. I'm not sure how they... Oh yeah, top lane. It looks like he just used the lasso to kill off the Sven.
He even used the lasso.
Wait, did he?
No.
What? How did he do this? What a madman.
So, first thing I'll say is I was just completely wrong. They can make rotations. GG. Doom is a powerful ability.
Malefic might just be dead right now, too. Could have just walked a bit too far, trying to juke over into the Roche pit. Maybe get the last hit to Roche there, but no, he's going to leap now. In comes the taunt, not connecting onto anybody. Sensei Raven might get a double kill, though. Finds one onto KTA, circling around the Roche pit to try and cut off Riceboy. And Riceboy just running into another stun as well. It might just get raised. We do get a kill onto Magnus in the bottom lane. Riceboy's still alive somehow. He's going to get raised right here, though.
Okay. Well, okay return kills. I mean, York down bottom's a little unfortunate, but at least, you know, they got a kill on the Doom in return there.
They had the gold advantage from that fight.
Yeah.
By about 400, but it's slightly in terms of pretenders right now. We're basically even.
Yeah.
Which really comes down to XP at the moment.
Yeah, it's still fine for the Dire. I think Dire's okay with this. They seem to not fall too far behind. The main thing I think is that Sven, it's time to go jungle at this point. Like, Bat, it's got, you know, got his levels. This Bat Rider hero can really pressure a Sven.
Looks like that's what he's gone to do right now, too. He's kind of reading your mind there. He knew exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely my call and not just seeing what happened. So we're back on the bottom, actually. They're going
double kill. I think he just rage and walk away. He's trying to go for the kill initially. Could hop into a creep, though, run it away, and it's a free lifestealer.
Yeah. That's like part of why Lifestealer is so good, I think, right now. Is you just have this get out of jail free thing. We just infest a creep. It's like, what are you gonna do?
It feels really bad stunning a creep, so.
Yeah, I also feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me being bad previously, but I feel like the fact that you infest and immediately get control of your creep without any worry is like really nice, because you can just run away instantly. I don't know. Probably just because I had like weird hotkeys before and I would never have control for like a minute or for like a second, but it feels really good, especially since you always get the damage too, even if it's like a friendly creep.
Is a TP top? They might be looking for a fight. There's only two heroes here. They probably just don't want to give up this tower to two supports. There is or Hype is here as well on the Bat Rider if they want to go past the tier 1 tower. Look for a kill potentially. Malefic still doesn't have the steal. There's a stun up from Guam, who is hitting it completely blind. Rotation up from the Shadow Fiend, trying to bring down Malefic. The taunt is there onto the Phoenix. Malefic still barely surviving. Got outside of that. They find the kill onto KTA. Just ticking up there. I believe it was a wand charge.
Yeah,
kept him alive.
Very aggressive dive.
Might not survive too. One raise, two raise. Down he goes.
It was just a very aggressive play from the Radiant. I don't know. You just like the Phoenix dove behind the tower.
Oh, there's a Doom mid onto the Sven as well. Riceboy might be a bit too far though. Does pop out the RP just to save him for now. Taunt gonna follow up as well. A couple of hits. Riceboy almost certainly dead here. And again, this is really expensive. Not even gonna die to the Doom. 20 health on Fat Sloth.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, nice responses by the Dire. Honestly, like the Radiant's making these poke plays and they're just showing up in the right spot. Yorick basically went top to help that fight and then ran immediately mid and set up for that. Good use of RP at this point in the game.
It was kind of, I think it might have just been a bit of unlucky timing on Riceboy's part. They were just top killing off Guam, like right on top of this ward up here. And then Riceboy goes for that. They're going to run mid anyway.
True. I mean, it just, you know, it's a good rotations from York, you know. And also it's like good wherewithal to pop the RP on one hero, get the kill early.
Look at Sensei mid though. He's running around with an Invis Rune, maybe looking for the ultimate here. I don't know if he has. They're so quick on the Doom. Does he have the damage? He's gonna maybe look for the taunt from Void Spirit. Not popping it quite yet. They want to get the lift or a taunt or something to set up, but It's not going to happen. They will find the life
Double
stealer.
King?
Double King needs to be kind of careful here. Feared away as well as the raises. Is it going to be enough? He pops the rage. Can they get the right click?
No.
I don't think so. Armlet gives them a little bit too much HP. They will take the top tier 1 as a trade for that. Running around in the jungle just making space.
Yeah, a little bit of, I think, spell misusage. I think if No hadn't used his Remnant earlier, they probably get that kill. But, you know, doesn't hurt to try. Level 1 SF ult's kind of whatever, so...
There's a rotation mid 2.
Not
Malefic's
much.
super far behind. They're going to try and run at Sensei right now. Underneath the tier 1, just forcing out the TPs, try and turn it back onto Malefic. Maybe just get rid of a hero. They don't have the RP quite yet. This is a really early egg as well. Courier just kind of sitting here. They do have vision on it, but it is going to back up. I'm not sure where it was going.
It's trying to join Malefic in the grave.
But yeah, kind of a weird egg there. Not actually getting any use out of it, but I mean, you kill off Rubik.
I think it's fine. You just want... I think they mostly just wanted to make sure... Like, they walked high ground there, and they saw, like, 3 heroes, and they're like, alright, we want to make sure we don't just die to this. Because Doom was still on cooldown. You know, Lifestealer's only got an armlet. You don't want to throw away something there, so... the egg, I think, was fine. Like, it's a defensive egg you get out. As long as that's the game plan. Looks like they're trying
This
to
might
make
be
a
a
move
smoke
in
here too, but York
Ooh.
also looking at it. There is a
Instant
Doom up
pop.
on Rice Boy, maybe looking for the RP. The Skewer is going to miss. No, he does hit the RP over on, but Guam again. He did it last game and he's doing it this one. There's a Doom over on a Sensei. We do have the return Doom there onto the Lifestealer, but I think he can just lifesteal it back. He doesn't really care too much. Again, Guam hitting the max range ice paths. He's hitting a 3-man dual breath, still doing so much work on that hero. 3 kills almost completely on top of each other if they can find No as well, but he's too far underneath the tier 2.
There's one takeaway I have from this series. It's that Guam's a god, and you shouldn't give him Jakiro. You know,
He's playing
only
really
possible.
well on Jakiro in this series. I haven't seen him play Jakiro this well in a long time. Like, max range ice paths are one of the hardest abilities in the games to hit. No might just die right here. We do have the missed War Stomp. Maybe they can keep diving though. They do pop the drums.
Then-
In comes Fatsloth with a stun, but how does he get on top of anybody? Looking for the stun over onto Phoenix. He's gonna get the double hit here too. That is a dead KTA. Rice Boy is pretty quick here. Has another drum charge if he wants to use it, but it's not enough. Double King was actually inside of him. There's the pushback from Hype. They are able to just walk away. They can get out past their tier 1. Guam actually using the macro power to keep the heroes off. I think what does feel bad as soon as Fatsloth gets this eggs, which I think you go for it now, after you have the Echo Blade.
I agree. It's definitely the next item.
Could have gotten the deny right there, I think, but Guam actually passing it up. They're going to get the kill on the Double King. Instead, pops the Rage, is able to run away. It comes very close. Oh, Guam's a bad man.
Another one. Guam's just showing off at this point. Just throwing out ice pass for no reason.
It doesn't even matter.
Gotta be a little careful, actually. It's just
Ain't a thing. Yeah, he is pretty far out here. Zucky Sensei didn't do the magic build where he just uses him and then raises him twice. Doesn't it? Oh, we talked too soon.
GG. We build him up only for him to throw it away.
They
I mean,
are
it's
going to look.
interesting.
Hype's doing a really nice play to push this out mid right now, but it looks like we might be looking at another fight soon, as we do have the Doom coming up. Blink as well.
Oh, so you finally have Blink? Nice. I think that's oh, he's on the...
He is on the cliff and he's under vision. They know he's up here, but they're not going to commit for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can just go with this Doom available.
Now they smoke, though. They know Double King's on the opposite side of the map. He was making plays like this last game. They're kind of expecting this at this point. We do have an RP up if they want to cancel the Rage TP.
Yeah. This should be a kill. I'd be very surprised if he gets out. But doesn't mean he won't.
He does have the Infest up in 1 second, but there's hardly any creeps over here. Like, he's probably going to finish farming this camp and then just die. And there's a Blink Dagger up on York as well, so this is pretty much a guaranteed RP.
He just needs to make sure he commits the RP and it'll be fine. They'll be able to easily burst him through that.
Yeah, no TP spots really. There is the outpost, but it's 6 seconds as well as the tier 2.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty dead on Double King. I'm going to predict it right now. He's pretty dead. That's a really early RP, though. He can just pop Rage and TP now. He's just gonna walk away, actually. There's Sensei looking for the ultimate, actually getting the fear. He goes for the infest onto a big creep, gets it off, immediately gets canceled, though. Guam again with a nice ice path, locking them in. They do not get the kill onto Double King, but they do find a kill onto the Phoenix that might, no, it wasn't actually the egg popped. Ray's missing, Hype surviving. 2 kills, Hype dropping, USS Guam dropping, and everybody is dying except for Double King. That is the complete opposite of what I predicted. I don't know how it's possible.
Fight could not have got more different than what we thought was gonna happen. Holy shit! Like, first of all, I mean, Double King, really, really good play. Like, I mean, slight miscoordination from the Dire, but even with like the mistakes they made, I was like pretty sure Lyslater dies just with 4 heroes being on top of him, you know. But he played it really well. Nice toggles, you know, good movement just to avoid the random spells that were coming out, like the Remnant. But then, I don't know, like they blew all these ults on the Dire side, and the Radiant like committed onto them, and they lost 4 heroes. So
yeah, well, it was, again, they have to TP, right? So it's 1 by 1 by 1. Phoenix shows up first, just gets blown up, and it's Guam who just gets lower and lower. Does hit a nice stun, but like doesn't really matter. Hype gets thrown into the thick of things without really having any backup.
Yeah,
it's really hard to take fights where you're just TPing.
And you also have Fatsoff, you know, showing up to that, helping get those kills, right? This hero does a lot of damage, and he's almost got his Ags complete. He's only 400 gold off, so really, really farmed Sven in this game. And I honestly...
Rice Boy going uphill, maybe looking for the Doom, but he actually missed the War Stomp. Maybe they'll look for the Void Spirit instead. We do have Hype running over. Doesn't have a blink. Again, he's not very keen on getting these early blinks. Some of these initiating heroes now actually juking away for now. There's a TP away as well. It's gonna be a kill on the support. They commit the lasso. Probably didn't need it, but
honestly, 5-man rotation, lasso used. If all you lose is your position 5 Void Spirit, you're happy.
I think the problem is, though, the rest of the heroes aren't farming across the map. Sensei Raven's actually running back to the base right now. I guess he was farming the triangle, though, that whole time. So
yeah,
didn't get to do that for free.
They're actually coming in here. Interesting they want to fight this. I don't know if
Double King's a little low, though. He's about half HP to start this engagement. We have a blink, and again, he can't. It's such a long cast time. Did we get the stun onto Malefic as well as the egg on the background? RP onto pretty much everybody outside of the egg. They're not getting the Doom either. What a setup. Sensei popping the ultimate. Out comes the eggs from Fat Sloth. That gets dodged, but it doesn't matter.
That was
fantastic communication from Toilet Vel. Like, York just going for the RP, finds where Sensei is, pulls them all right back to that ultimate, right back to that Requiem, and everybody just melting.
This is like what I was hoping to see from game 1. Where like game 1 they had all this team fight, but just no damage. But this game they've got the damage, right? You got this RP and the SF ult and the Fat Sloth coming in with this, you know, Sven ult with so much damage. Like, you saw they just like chunked down the lifesteal in like 4 or 5 hits from the Sven, and like that hero's their tanky hero at this point in the game, armlet.
And you gotta be so careful as a support playing in the Sven now too. Pretty much any of your squishy heroes just get deleted by the eggs.
Yeah, it's so dumb because you got this dispel. So, oh wait, going in again.
The stun up as well as the net onto Rice Boy. Stun through from Guam. They can get another support kill as well as they lasso back onto another one. I think it's gonna be a 2 supports killed. Maybe Fat Sloth looking next, looking for the Doom. There is a slow again. Guam hitting a nice ice path. Actually going into it is York. He can't get anything off afterwards. They just threw their lives back into this. They're not going to find Sensei.
Going right in the Roche. Really nice play by Pretenders, because like, you know, the one weakness that Toiletville's draft has is they have some big teamfight ults, but they have some decent cooldowns on them as well. And especially the Sven hero, this hero does not fight very well when God's Strength is down. So really nice read, understanding that they had the window of like, you know, 45 seconds or so where they can actually take a fight, forcing it. Toiletville may be overcommitting for the defense and just, all of a sudden you have 4 heroes dead in a Roche, right? This game that seemed pretty in trouble with that last team fight is all of a sudden looking pretty decent.
It always seems like such a sketchy call to be like, yo, let's go fight right after you just lose 4 heroes in a team fight.
Yeah.
Like,
the confidence to know that like the reason why we lost this fight is because they had 3 huge ults that they threw at us, right? And being able to say, you know what, that is why we lost. If we commit without them having those, we're good to go. I think the other part of it is that Rice Boy never got his Doom off in the last fight. So they basically looked at it and said, well, we have all of our ults. They have none of their ults. If there's going to be a time where we're strong, it's probably right now. And so them, commit.
Really Rice Boy is pretty dead right now.
Yes. Rice Boy is gone.
Does get a stun through. Guam might be the next target, though. That's Ice Pass stolen as well. That's basically outside of, oh god, Air Shaker stun.
Fissure.
Fuck. Fissure. One of the best stuns Jakiro can steal, I think.
Yeah. Non-ultimate abilities, it's probably the best in the game for them to take. I mean, obviously you want something like RP or SF ult or... Oh, wait, no, that's his team. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best. Like Doom, right? Like, you might want to steal Doom.
Yeah,
but
Lasso's
probably
pretty good. Yeah, Lasso or Doom.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rubik, one nice thing that Malefic's been doing is they've had decent vision, and so he's been able to lift this Doom, like, almost every fight. And I just want to point out that, like, I think that's helped them a lot in these engagements, because normally Doom's, like, able to kind of make the jump and start fights.
This is a catapult initiation. Stun through, misses Sensei. He doesn't have a BKB. Is slowing him up for now. In comes the Sven, though. Look at him just get deleted. Guam going down. Trying to focus down the egg as York. Do they have enough to hit this? Yes, they do, but they still lose the Shadow Fiend. It's a 2 for 2 at the moment. Getting really low on Rice Boy as well. Stun through on a double king. Can they keep him alive? They get the Doom on top of Fat Slot. Can they turn this? We get a pause for somebody that's dead. DC's.
I think it's automatic, right? With the
yeah.
pauses.
Yeah. There is a lift up on Malefic in 4 seconds. Rage is still up. Can they kill him in the 5 seconds they have? Rice Boy is pretty low, but he has got the Inferno Blade as well as the War Stomp. Yorick looking like just Shockwave pretty much.
Yeah, he ran out.
And yeah, I think that might be it. Rice Boy actually dodging the stun. Yeah. Malefic doesn't have too much to follow up after that. Does have the lift, but it's not going to save the life of your Sven. Maybe make some space for Yorick, because he's able to run away. He's actually just farming the camp, too. He's just going to watch Malefic die.
Yeah. You can see right now, I don't know, I'm actually learning a lot about this Lifestealer Sven matchup. Sven just doesn't have the damage quite yet to take out Lifestealer, is where he's at. Like, I think you need like another damage item
sure.
to get ahead
I think before the Doom, he was going to win that fight, because he would have been able to get off another stun before he died there. I think if it's a straight 1v1 and you're just hitting each other, probably Sven wins.
Yeah, this Doom ability, very strong. The other things like Fatsoff, I think he'll eventually get a Satanic, would be my guess. Well, we'll see what he goes. Like, if this was me, I would be picking up a Satanic either before or after this BKB, just because I want to be able to fight through the Doom and not feel like I'm just like that fight went, right? Like I can't man up if I'm doomed. But we'll see. He's going for the BKB instead, so that might.
It feels like a little bit better. Maybe York can pick up the Halberd potentially. Like, still gonna benefit from the strength there.
Yeah, I think that might not be a bad idea. I mean, he's the only person I think that can realistically get one. But he's going for BKB, which I don't think is bad either. Like, guaranteeing you can hit Egg and having, the ability to fight through Ice Path is pretty nice. I don't know. He's gone this, like, team fight build. And, like, one thing that's interesting is, like, on the Dire side, there's, like, no pipes, no mech, nothing to really sustain through these fights. I feel like having something like a pipe against Shakiro Phoenix might be kind of nice, but instead they're going for just more full-in team fights, right? Like this BKB instead of a pipe on Magnus. Sensei Raven, he's got SNY. He's actually building Satanic on his hero, so he's
really. I thought he would go for a BKB, honestly.
Yeah, it seems a little weird that you have like, I don't know if it's like a weird misunderstanding of the game. This is something that if I was on this team, I would talk about after this game. It's like, why is York going for a BKB versus Sensei Raven who's not? When you think like if one of these heroes is going BKB, the other.
Oh, this is up high ground smoke. Guam might just pop it too. He's actually gonna get used.
Oh no!
Still having DC issues. They don't know he's high ground, or any of the team is high ground. I don't think they have vision on this.
Yeah, but this is honestly it feels bad, because part of like dealing with this type of smoke, it's like the timing, right? Like the fact that they have to respond in like a second or two to the fact that they broke, and by then they'll be on top of them. But now you lose all of the whatchamacallit, like element of surprise here that the Dire would normally have going into this fight. A little bit
I think they
unfortunate.
kind of know that they're high ground, like just based off of their reactions too.
Well, they do now, right? Like if they did it before, they know after they've had time to think about it.
Yeah, they're like, we popped it over here. You know, we still have the smoke on Rice Boy and Hype. Like, yeah, they're pretty much guaranteed to be over here. And you got to be careful. Probably KTA just dives away immediately.
Yeah, we'll see how they respond. If we see an instant dive from the Phoenix, then you feel bad. But
I mean, what are you gonna do? Just like pretend like you didn't know? Like, I feel like the worst thing to do would just be like, okay, we didn't know they were up there. We're just gonna pretend like we didn't have this.
Nah, I mean, I think you can still just fight it. Like, the main thing right now is that I don't know. All the abilities are up. This will be interesting. We'll see.
I should totally put net worth. I've left last hits on this entire time.
That's fine.
What?
Instant egg.
I don't think he can actually get this off. There's a stun through. Guam making a lot of space to get it off. They kill off Sensei immediately. They just run directly into them.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If there's no pause there, that fight does not go badly for Toilet Bell like it did right there. Like,
that's definitely a tough one to call.
There's no way you instant egg as Phoenix, unless you've had time to think about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not blaming the team. I don't think it's like like they DC'd on purpose or anything. It's a feels bad type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it's kind of unfortunate timing.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate.
That one was the most egregious, of course. Like the rest of them were pretty much just people. Internet sucks sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you feel bad, right? Like, because it's not like, nobody's doing it maliciously, but at the same time as like I've played. Everybody's played games where you have people DCing. It's like it's always tilting when the enemy team DCs. You know, it just no matter what, they're making it go in onto Guam.
I think they'll still just play the game after this. The Guam actually staying alive for now. There is a stun through. They're going to keep him alive. There's the RP as well as the Requiem. Rice Boy getting skewered back. There's a disarm though. Sensei can't really do much. They kill off Rice Boy, but Guam with the macro power through brings down Sensei, and this is not looking great for Toilet Bell. There's a stun through the buyback as well on Malefic. They finally kill off Guam, so it's a 3 for 2, but you did spend a buyback there.
Yeah. Maybe a little preemptive buyback coming out from Malefic.
Oh, they're going to keep going for Fast Lock too, do they? Yes, they do with the Sunray. Look at that damage. That percentage HP, dude. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you have Lifestealer plus the Phoenix. Like, I mean, he obviously didn't expect to die there, but that feels bad. They also still had Lasso left over from the previous fight, which is, maybe something he didn't account for. Having that lockdown for Sven is really big.
I just guessed he used it somewhere, yeah.
Like, you don't expect to die during the Lasso duration as a Sven, right? Like, that just feels really weird. But you've got the, Phoenix percentage damage. You've got the Lifestealer percentage damage. Yeah, he still has the percentage damage. So, like, I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
Max health lifesteal. Wait, does he?
Does he? Or is that changed? Never mind. Oh, that's old lifesteal. I'm sorry. Oh, he just heals from the percentage. Never mind.
Yeah, max health lifesteal, and then it's the attack speed too. But...
You can see how much I've played carry in the past, like.
Dude, I know. I used to always think. I mean, I think the again the rule of thumb is lifesteal is still really good into like melee cores that are strength heroes in lane. Just because you're gonna lifesteal more.
Yeah, it's a sustain, not the damage. I never really played this hero very much, though. My inexperience.
Sensei Raven might just be dead mid. They're gonna use a lasso again as well. They don't quite have the same amount as they did last time, but they're gonna get the stun. Sensei going for the ultimate. He's still gonna tick down though.
Yeah. I think
they might be playing a little tilted too.
Oh, I'm sure. And I don't blame them really. It happens. But this is one of those scenarios where it's kind of hard in a round robin league match where you're, ultimately it probably won't matter for this team, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, you just gotta kind of pull yourself together at this point. Like your team fight is still really strong if you can manage to get the jump, which
We saw them do it earlier with the Requiem
Yeah.
of Souls or RP
Yeah.
into Requiem of Souls.
And honestly, if anything, I think their team fight just gets stronger. Like I don't think it gets weaker. Especially when Sven gets his BKB, like you can run rampant in this fight. Sounds like it's BKB. This does seem like a little strange play.
No, they
Like,
do have a stun for Fat Slap, and he's gone just a bit too far. Stickus get the stun away to at least purge some of the damage, but
yeah, I mean, he bought out for BKB, but that kind of feels like a tilted play. If you want to talk about tilted plays, like I don't know why you just run down mid.
yeah,
with the bat
it's
rider
two
around you.
heroes dying in the mid lane now.
Yeah. We'll see. He did buy out on Fatself for his BKB, which I think was the right call, but he has no buyback for a minute.
Oh,
so
what a blink from York. That was really close.
York's just a god gamer. That's just how it is.
He literally took damage from the dive immediately after he got finished with the blink. Like, it still hit him.
Yeah, it's a slight delay, so really good job. They're going
There's
in
a
though.
stun up onto Sensei. Can they bring him down in time? The egg is definitely going to go off. Nobody's even near. RP being popped. Sensei slowly ticking down. Is going to survive for now on 20 HP. We will have to go back to the fountain. There is a stolen ice path. Hits onto 2. Looking like Guam out here. Tier 3. There's a blink stun from Rice Boy. They bring down Malefic super easily. That's a dieback as well as he did spend it earlier. Still no Sven, and I think they're going to fight this even because it is going to be 4 on 5. Do not have that Aegis, but
they still have ult on the SO.
they don't have the RP quite
Lasso.
yet since they used it. Lasso pop. There is a stun coming in from the Sven, doing a lot of work, but the pushback from Rice Boy as well, making some space. Rice Boy having to run away. Hype doing a nice job there. They're going to get the stun through. Here's the 1v1 onto the Sven, and he's doomed again. Double King bringing him down. They get the stun onto York as well, trying to skewer back into the fountain. It's not quite, but he's probably still going to live here. Might just tick down in the fountain. They bring another one down on the Void Spirit. Sensei Raven killed outside the fountain. No gonna drop as well. GG called by Malefic.
Yeah, they're tilted. Jesus, I'd be tilted. That's a.
I don't think anybody blames at all.
Yeah. Unfortunate, because this game was shaping up to be really good.
It was.
Like,
I had no idea who was gonna win at like 20 minutes. It's just really unfortunate.
yeah, I don't want to like discredit Pretenders though. Like they played their draft really well. Had some really nice team fights. I think they did a really good job of, unlike last game where I think Toivoll might have played a little passively with their Lifestealer pick. Like I think they did a good job of applying pressure, doing these like Doom Infest Bomb plays that really kept up the pressure on this Fen before he could really get out of control. But I mean, you could see it. Like the team fights are going fine until that one team fight after the DC, and then it felt like Toivoll just fed like 5 kills in a row after that at various spots on the map. When I feel like if they were a little more composed, the fight went a little bit better. They would have just regathered themselves, got this BKB on Fatsoff, and been fine.
Yeah, they were leading at like 25 minutes in the game still.
Yeah,
It's pretty even. It's just back and forth. But yeah, just a one unfortunate disconnect, and
blame Guam. It's all Guam's fault.
he's gonna get removed as admin, I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna kick himself after this game. That's the only way to
That's the only way.
describe it.
I mean, still another nice performance from Hype though. 6-1, 11-2 on Double King, both games this series.
Yeah, Double King popped off really hard. He really played well on this Lifestealer. Like that's a hero that I don't think you could be super flashy on, but he had some nice plays. He really understood the strengths of the hero. His one like gank dodge where they blew RP on him and he still managed to get out was pretty crazy. That was really well done. Their team obviously knows how to use this Batrider pick pretty well. Like I felt that they really utilized it. They held Lasso really well both games, both with Rice Boy and Hype playing it, which is very solid. Obviously the Jakiro working out really nicely. Yeah, and I mean Phoenix and Doom are just powerful heroes, so not much to say about them. You just pick those heroes and they kind of just do work no matter what. And I don't know. I think on the flip side, like I don't think Toivoll is going to be too discouraged from this game. If anything, they're just going to be kind of mad. But I think these are two of the best teams in their group. Maybe not the best, because you can argue Eternal Kings are up there as well. maybe one or two others that I'm forgetting right now, but I think they played really well up until, things kind of fell apart. But...
Yeah, I think first game it kind of just comes down to the way they played it. The draft was kind of to other bell, but definitely turned things around in game 2, and Pretenders looking to be one of the better teams in the league too. Toilet Bell putting up a fight. Like, I think we probably don't have the two best teams in the league here, but that upper average, probably upper middling.
I'd argue both the teams are top 5 at least after watching this play. I might be wrong. I might be forgetting some teams. I'm probably forgetting some teams, but MMR wise, both these teams have some very powerful players. So, I don't know. It was a fun series to watch. I enjoyed, being able to cast this. A little anticlimactic game too, but it is what it is.
Well, that will be it. Super late games tonight.
Yeah.
PST timing. I believe there's more on Friday too. We don't have any League of Lads games tomorrow on the Thursday, but look forward to more. A lot of action happening Friday. There's I think like 1 or 2 games on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then a couple on Sunday. So look forward to that. And then we have the next week coming up. So
yeah. Good stuff.